there's a debasement that has been going on over history to humanity. This is why in all of the spiritual systems, the humans are always seen to be not good enough. This is just a reset point here. Okay. Because I kind of, I got caught up in the glorious aspects of things. And it's like, okay, wait. Let's vibrate resonance here. And let's just finish this transmission. So there's always this thing, if you notice, that there's always something that we're looking up to. Again, whether it's the general, whether it's the president, or whether it's because we're not rich enough, or whether it's because we're not the right color, or whether it's because we don't got the right clothes on, or the right shoes, or the right car. So do you notice how in the reality, there's this consistent algorithm that you're not good enough, right? So where does that come from? And I'm telling you, it comes from the warships. The warships themselves you can see them as non-physical. They're like UFOs, if you may, but they're basically thought patterns. And when they start to purvey everything, then everything begins to conform to that shape or to that design. And that shape and that design is a debased shape and design. It's like saying that something else is higher or greater than me. And because I'm not as great as that, then I need to worship it. Now, some of the relationships that we've seen throughout history between humans and in this case, the demigods, were something to the tune of that. It's kind of like if you go into, let's say, one of the poorest countries, you notice that the people are really giving. So if you go into their tribe, the first thing they're going to try to do is they're going to try to feed you. They're going to try to give you some food. And so let's say that you look at the food, and because you're, I don't know, from the high country or whatever, you're going to be like, gross. I don't eat worms mixed with dirt or from that type of plate. You see what I mean? And then you're going to feel like there's nothing that I need from you, right? And meanwhile, these may be the people who hold the ancient knowledge, the culture, or the cure to the next crazy ass disease. You see what I mean? So the experience with the people in many of the demigods was still very similar to the experience between the colonizers and those that they colonized. They would come into these lands and act like they didn't need anything from the people there and treat the people like that. So the humans got used to being treated like that, that these gods are so powerful with all these technologies and these ships. They used to call it the bell, that when with the horn, that when the angel would arrive, it would make this huge blaring sound because they were vibrational frequencies. And they would come into the reality like horns, like vroom, vroom, and they would have these huge shams, which are like kind of like a what you would say is like a vehicle that is phasing in and out of this reality that they were traveling in. So you imagine, they don't even have PlayStation yet. Like, even if that happened now, we're still going to be like blown away. So imagine for these people, the first thing they would do is just like, do you want some corn? Shit, I don't know what to give you. And for many of them, their experience was like, they felt like they could never give the gods enough. And that's kind of symbolic as that statement, what do you give the man who has everything? And so they started giving their children. And I talked about this before, like they felt like they needed to give the best thing that they had. And that's why later on, the terms for these certain entities, which some of them are seraphim, some of them are cherubim, actually was akin to, as Pierre also talks about, as being snatchers and takers and replicators, that they would abduct. And that's where that whole thing came from in the traditions in the US about alien abduction. But it was basically that they started giving their children to these entities. And you see it also in the cult of the Zarin and any of those covens and things. They consecrate the children to these entities because they feel like we don't have nothing for them. So what I'm saying is that there's a wedge that many of these malevolent forces are trying to drive in to master over humanity. And they do that through debasement. And how they do it is they create this system that they don't actually abide by and do. And then the moment that you're not doing it properly, now you're quote unquote the criminal, or now you're the lower one. Watch what I'm saying. People don't even know that's what I'm saying. This is about getting your shit together. because in 1 year, you're going to see things that you've never seen before. Do you understand that when there's this kind of pattern, right? And you're just looking for algorithms. So you're finding this pattern that why is it necessary to put everybody down and make everybody feel lower? And that's because they're trying to usher in something that is already so low that you need to be feeling like crap in order to even accept it, right? As your leader and as your ruler, right? So this stage is being set and you can see it clearly, because what most people are not realizing is, you see how I'm going to show you in 2 ways that the world is making the world is about to manufacture an idea that basically most people are criminals. So that way people can start feeling like they're once again lower than this criminal ass gubernatorial that we also have. One of them is first of all, obviously there's this big boom in cryptocurrency. But the main thing that's also happening is you have pretty much, I don't know, 40 to 50%. I don't know if it could be that high. It could even be higher, of the average US or Western citizen actually investing in something that the SEC has not still yet classified if whether or not it's not a security, and has already issued a warning and basically said that if you're generally not, when ICO starts, they tell you, if you're in the jurisdiction of the United States, you cannot invest in this. Do you understand that? And then most folks, we just click the box and be like, yo, here's my ether. Right? Because I'm trying to get out of this hellhole that I'm in of financial disaster in a debt-based system. Right? I got kids to feed. But notice how they broke the law, though. Okay, so let's just put that on the show. Okay, forget it. So the other one was, now some folks, they just was like, I can't do it with you in the Jabberwocky, but Silk Road and this doctor I got up the street and a few other folks, well, we got the Connect, nigga. We got Delta passes, Sky Miles, all whatever you need. Like, what do you need? So they, as you saw on CNN, they're like, yo, there's so many fake CV certificates. I'm not going to say the word, but there's so many fake CV for certificates and shit. There's no way for us to verify all this. So you got upstanding citizens, right? Oh, doctor. Like, I peeped this. These are the people that think they're so good because the good angel has been sitting over there in their ear. Oh, you've done so perfect with your perfect job and you didn't turn the way of society. You turned maybe your back on society and the inner city and all that, because after all, you're the good angel, right? Maybe you sent a little food, but now you just committed fraud. So in their system, you're low because they don't accept fraud. Now, the other thing was, here's the other thing, taxes, right? Watch how this whole thing plays out. So now in their new system, that's why there's a fork in the road coming. Decentralized, and we still moving because shit, our currency is us. And we already have things that we're agreeing on has value, and basically the control, the real beast. Like, you won't buy or sell without CDBC, and nobody will be getting no dope money. Nobody will be getting no weed money. Nobody will be getting nothing. And they're going to dry up the streets. And so you have no choice but to go to Waterworld and remember that word Waterworld and hang out, and then protect yourself and be on your own sovereign stuff and try to hold your water from these bandits. You see what I mean? So do you see how all this is unfolding? And it's just like the natural progress of things. But if you know the future, then you can prepare yourself for this, and actually it would be your benefit, because then you would be able to develop an exit strategy, because that's why all this stuff started in the first place. It's like, look, y'all need to either decide if you're going to serve your own self as a sovereign, or if you're going to keep going forth with, I don't know, I guess they call it mammon now, or whatever name they're giving it. And how does that manifest, though? Because I'm like, okay, well, that sounds like a pretty accurate conspiracy, maybe, but how would it pop off? Where are those components? Is this happening? Yes. Check it out. Go to YouTube, type in Palantir Vision, jump on Buddy's page. This guy's like a buff of Palantir. He says he's been crawling all over everything that they do. You'll notice that Palantir just deployed in Foundry a system that is going to now allow the government, which they're selling it to be able to trace every single investment that came through the cryptocurrency system back to the original wallet. So that way they can see when you onboarded in Coinbase. And then from that point, probably about a year and a half, whatever it is that they saying you made, because you were supposed to pay your taxes, right? They're just going to take, right? So also in the system, since everybody's going to be on CDBC, and CDBC is issued from their side, and they're approved suppliers or authorized suppliers like Apple and like all the bigger jobs and like all the bigger gateways, They'll just have the CDBC integration for you to receive your paycheck through. Wherever you're receiving your money, hey, isn't it legit? You're legit, right? You're all legit. You see what I mean? Never realizing that illegitimate side of the streets is actually what's really actually keeping the economy going. Do you think that the people that have jobs are the ones that are going to the restaurants and buying all the boutique stuff and all that kind of stuff that allow all these little mom and pop businesses to function? No. It's the $500 food stamps that I was able to convert into $300 and actually go get them Nikes from that store that this dude put up that was a part of his idea how he wanted to sell store stuff in the hood. You see? So when that can't happen anymore, where are you going to be at then? Would you have built your own world already? Would you have woke up already for Wonderland, Alice? And realize that now it's time to be an adept or an adult and to stop being like a kid because you were programmed to stay as a kid or a sheep or a goat?